First thing off the bat we want to say before we get into this story is this particular video we will be discussing mental illness, and we'll be talking about depression. One thing, and we will keep it on the bottom half of the screen, there is a phone number there. If you are depressed, if you feel that there is no resource, no goal that you cannot handle, please do call these numbers or seek help, because there is help out there. You are not alone, and there are people out there willing to help you. You know, people worry about the finances of that. Don't disregard what it costs or anything like that. Get the help you need. Most of these places will help you and will not charge you for this. That's why some of these phone numbers do exist, because basically there are those out there that just doesn't realize that there is some good help out there that's willing to talk to you when you truly need it, especially at a time when you're just at your wit's end, like the end of this particular story we will be discussing on this video. Now, if you are familiar with Kagney Linn Karter, she is in the porn industry, adult porn star. This particular story was last week. This was during the February 19th, the President's holiday week. This particular story came out. But the main headline is Kagney Linn Karter dies in Cleveland home. The thing about this is that she took her own life very tragically, and according to TMZ, not something that we can really truly discuss here on YouTube. But I'll tell you this: there's not a way to go. There's not not a way to take your life. The situation. All life is precious. But we're going to read into this from Adult Video News. Celebrated adult performer Kagney Linn Karter, who collected 3 AVN awards over the course of her career, including Best New Starlet in 2010, died Thursday in her home in the Cleveland, Ohio area. She was 36. According to the GoFundMe page set up by a friend, Megan Lee, to help Carter's mother cover her memorial services and final expenses, Karter took her own life in her home. Local medical records confirmed her date of death as being Thursday, February 15th. Lee noted on the GoFundMe page that Karter moved to Cleveland from Los Angeles in 2019 and became involved in the fitness studio Lee co-owns there. She will go on to starting her own pole dancing studio in nearby Akron. Lee wrote, "Observing business ownership is not an easy task, but Kagney never shied away from the challenge. Her students and staff remember her incredibly fondly, both as an intelligent and intuitive instructor and as an owner who did all she could to build a little community of her own, something of which she could be proud, somewhere she could feel safe and wanted." Lee added, "Unfortunately, despite of all her many impressive accomplishments and talents, Kagney struggled with mental health issues as the years passed by. Even in her darkest day, however, she still showed up to the studio, always ready to learn, contribute, and better herself in whatever small way she could manage. As alone as she undoubtedly felt within the confines of her own head, she continued to make efforts to show up for her friends and her community who cared about her. She fought her own battles with the same tenacity and drive she showed in every other area of her life with as much strength as she could." Born in Texas, Karter first entered the adult industry in 2008 after being named Regional Deja Vu Showgirl of the Year 2007. She had distinguished her career that include a stint as a contract girl for Zero Tolerance Entertainment, as Kelly Bundy in the director Will Ryder's Not Married with Children, and as Claire Starling in Gray O'Nara's Official Silence of the Lambs parody, and being showcased by director William H. in Elegant Angels. Kagney Linn Karter is relentless. She remained semi-active as a performer through last year, during which she appeared in releases from various Gamma Entertainment brands, Girlfriend Films, MYLF, New Sensations, and more. Lee Remembrance of Karter went on to read more than her beauty, her lovely dancing, her singing, her dazzling performances, her business savvy and instructional certificates, and loyal fan base. Kagney was kind, Kagney was generous. As cold as the world could be, Kagney brought with her a light. On her good days, when she was most herself, she could warm up a room with her radiant smile, get others to laugh in no time at all. She was all brightness and bubble, with never a cross word to say about another. She forgave easily, gave second chances, saw value in small details. She loved deeply, and because of that, she will be missed just deeply. And this is what happens. Now, I know those of you, before you start to tap away in the comments line, blaming the porn industry, understand this. It doesn't matter what business you're in. Depression, mental illness can happen in any profession. Understand that. It doesn't matter what job, whatever position you have. You could be in retail, you could be in real estate, you could be, you could be doing lawn garden for your life. You can fall into these depression patterns. It could be loneliness for another companion, someone in your life. You might have had, very bad relationships. That can happen. You can question oneself because of your relationships. This has happened before. The thing about it is, they want to put all blame on the porn industry, but, it's nothing to do with this. It just has to do with her own personal life. It's always your personal life. And people don't understand that. This is why we have a mental illness issue throughout the world and a depression issue. We have another story down the line on the death of a manga creator who basically committed suicide because of her dealings, possibly her dealings with the company she dealt with on there. And basically now it's being investigated by the company. These are the things that does happen. We have to speak out for this. And just putting blame on things doesn't help. Like I said, in Japan, you have a depression problem, you have a forest where people walk into and commit suicide. Think about that for a minute. Forest that basically that the police officials know. Would you not think to put people there to monitor that forest, to see who's going in, going out, and why? I know it might be a large forest area, but there's got to be ways of putting some sort of sensor or something, someone at a forest ranger or something on the outside to see if anybody's walking in there and find out, why are you walking into this place? We've had situations even here in New York where people have jumped off the bridges on there. We have people, they've killed themselves in their own homes. It's a really bad issue. And once again, numbers down at the bottom of the screen. If you feel depressed, if you feel you're at your wit's end, call this number or find someone. Call. There are plenty of numbers. There are plenty of resources out there to help you. Your own clinic has resources there. Many of times, myself or my wife has walked into our appointments. One of the first things the nurses says, "How do you feel today? Do you want to talk to someone? Are you depressed? Do you wish to talk to someone today?" They ask this from every person that walks in the door because they know, even with illness, whether you're not ill, you might have, something that makes you depressed. The world is a harsh place to live in, but we can work to help those who are struggling with their lives. And the thing about it is, our own politicians are doing nothing to remedy these situations. They put blame on many things, from what you're watching on the internet to basically the weapons that are sold in stores to, many other things that basically have nothing to do with the person, that they've taken their life, or they're going through this depression. They may take the drugs. You're going to blame the drugs, that killed them? No, you don't do that. If someone is going to take their life, they're going to do everything in their way to do it. You have to explain to them, it says, you need to find help. Talk to someone. Get out there. Don't be alone. Don't sit there. Trust me, I've been in those situations where, you're sitting alone and you don't know what to do next. Get out there. If you don't have friends, find some friends. Go talk to somebody. Somebody out there will listen to you. Once again, numbers down at the bottom of the screen. We'll continue this through the end of the video. Call it. It's very simple. You don't need to be alone in this time period. For Kagney Linn Karter, rest in peace. Hopefully that she will find peace, in the problems that she had in her life. But once again, she did not need to do this. She had friends. She had a community that loved her. And, for her to tragically kill herself the way she did, it's a senseless death to that nature. So comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this. Don't forget to share this video. Hit the like. Thank you for those who have subscribed. But if you haven't yet, hit that subscription. Once again, phone numbers at the bottom of the screen. We'll continue on through the credits. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, and bye-bye now.